Well, hello again folks, hope yous are all keeping well out there, and welcome to another video. Hey, as you can see, I'm up early, very early, and hoping to have a go at the hooded crows. Well, that was the plan anyway. But while you watch me faffing about in the dark, trying to set up the hide, I'd like to explain a few things. Though for those of you who don't give a rat's rear end about what I have to say and just want to get stuck into the action, fast forward to about the 3-minute mark. I haven't had much luck with the hooded crows and the air rifle this year, one of the reasons you haven't seen much footage of the FX Crown. I've had the odd one here and there, but nothing that really makes great footage. I've also been having trouble finding a projectile that shoots accurately out of the Crown and performs well on the hooded crows. I've tried the JSB 18 grains, the 15 grain Hades, the H&N 21 grain slugs, and the Zan 20 grain slugs, all of which shoot really well and work well on rabbits, but they just seem to zip right through the hooded crows. It seems I can push the slugs fast enough to stabilise them and get them to shoot accurately, but not to expand. Yes, I've turned the regulator up as far as I would dare anyway, and I fitted a Huma high flow transfer port and an FX superior liner, which has got me about 900 feet per second. And I know there's more that I could do to the rifle to get more speed, but it always felt as if I was chasing my tail and sort of give up with the project. But then I remembered the old Theoben MFR I used to have, and how it would knock hooded crows over no bother at all, using a 21 grain Bisley Magnum pellet at about 860 feet per second. Which got me thinking, what if I just fired a heavier slug at a slower speed to get more knockdown power instead of over penetrating, and would it even stabilise at that speed? So after experimenting with different sized H&N slugs and Zan slugs, I found that the 217 25 grain H&Ns shot the best at 50 yards, actually quite well at 50 yards, at only 852 feet per second. But would it deck a hooded crow on the spot? Well, that's what I was hoping to find out this morning. And after what was a lovely sunrise, a hooded crow dropped down in to see what the crack was, as I had set out a dead rabbit for bait and a dead hooded crow as a decoy while it was still dark. The rifle that I'm using, if you haven't guessed by now, is a Mark 1 .22 caliber FX Crown. The scope is a Bushnell Tactical Elite 2-16 by 42. And, as you'll see in a second, I also have a Tactacam Solo and FTS unit to film through the scope. Well, you couldn't ask for a cleaner kill than that now. Although I could hear other hooded crows in the distance, none of them would come anywhere near me, not after that first shot. However, 3 or 4 ravens did grace me with their presence, cartwheeling overhead. They too can be problematic, with lambs and sheep. However, they're fully protected in the UK, so you can't touch them. After a while some magpies landed to check out the dead rabbit, though they were a wee bit nervous as there was a buzzard nearby. But their confidence soon grew, and they started taking it in turns to demolish that dead rabbit. Now, we can shoot magpies in Northern Ireland for the same reason we can shoot hooded crows, for the protection of livestock, but I let them feed away in peace, as there was a big hooded crow in the distance watching them, and I was hoping they would decoy him in. But it didn't work, and the hooded crow flew off somewhere else. Plus, I must be starting to lose my patience, as I started wondering, how would those little 25 grain slugs perform in a magpie? Quite well by the looks of it. With 2 birds down now, I give the magpies time to retreat to the distance, then quickly went out and set both birds up as decoys. And within a relatively short time, the magpies started to come back. That's one shot in the chest and the other in the back, both of which dropped like a stone. Then, out of the blue, a hooded crow landed, but as soon as it did, another bird in the distance started kicking off with an alarm call, and just like that, it was away again. I was annoyed, to say the least. Then, after a bit more time had passed, another magpie dropped in. Went for a side shot this time, and even though you could hear the slug ricochet after passing through, the magpie still went down a treat. Almost as soon as I'd shot that third magpie, a fourth one landed, and sorta caught me unawares, as I'd even forgotten to press record on the main camera. Thankfully though, the Tactacam Solo caught all the footage. It maybe wasn't the best of shots, as the magpie took off running, but only got about 20 yards and dropped dead in a ditch. While I was out of the hide, I took the opportunity to set all the birds that I had shot up as decoys, hoping that I might get another magpie or maybe another go at that hooded crow that annoyed me earlier. And to a certain degree it did work, as it got one particular hooded crow very annoyed indeed. But for all its blow and bluster, it never did land, unfortunately, and I decided to call it quits once the weather started to get worse. Not too bad this morning. I was hoping for more hooded crows, but with 4 magpies in the bag, you can't be too displeased about that, surely. Usual rabbit bait. That one might be staying here because it's a wee bit manky. I've used it quite a few times. And I set, I think it was originally this crow here that I shot somewhere else, so it was a decoy. I managed to get that bird there. Got the 4 magpies, and after I went out and picked the one up out of the ditch, I changed these birds over to make them look as if they're fighting, to try and get the birds to come back again. But besides them 2 or 3 hooded crows coming noisily overhead for a few minutes and disappearing again, it hasn't really worked. But to get that one I'm happy, especially since I've been trying out a new, well, new to me, 25 grain H&N slug. They're only doing about 852 feet per second, but it knocked that boy down, no bother at all. But I'm going to gather up and head home because the rain that they're forecast is arriving, and I don't want to get all the camera gear and that hide netting soaking. So, cheerio bye folks. I'll just tidy this lot up before I go. At least now I've got 1 or 2 more decoys to use on another day, if the weather improves, that is. Well folks, that's the end of another one. Sorry for all the inky blackness at the start of the video. A night vision camera probably would have been better, but it is what it is, hey. At least now I think I've solved my slug problem, as I've been out again recently after the hooded crows, where the 25 grains performed brilliantly. So it's a bit ironic that I solved the problem by going heavier and slower rather than lighter and faster. But hey ho, that's the way it is, hey. Anyway, take care folks and look after yourselves, hey.